Hey everyone, it's Kong again, back with another episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'm going to be presenting a high-level overview to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. This month, the main event is the next single-unit limited banner, along the lines of Wehttam, Awakened One, and Apotheosis, which are all getting rerun alongside this one. This time, they've decided to switch things up a bit by creating a new rarity tier that will be used for these limited heroes going forward. LLR, standing for Langrisser Legend Rare. Other than shiny new assets and being exclusive to these limited banners, they work like normal heroes. They have a little bit of a different shine on their Gates of Fate, but you can still farm them up daily, everything else is the same. So, we're used to how this works by now. You have a 40% chance to get the featured unit, and with no second character, that means you have a 60% off-banner chance. The banner will be up for the entire duration of this 5-week major update from May 23rd to June 26th. This new hero is an alternate dimension version of Imelda. Much like the MCU, Zilong is embracing the multiverse, and much like the MCU, it's to their detriment. Anyway, their promotional materials are calling this version of Imelda both Sovereign of the Ice Abyss and Queen of the Frigid Abyss, because they are not well known for being adept translators. I'll just call her Queen of the Abyss here for the sake of simplicity, and the community can go ahead and do its nickname thing. So, the Queen of the Abyss is a PvP-oriented magical enabler who pulls units around and blasts the whole enemy team with AoE. She has 5 flying mobility and 2 range int-based attacks. Her talent gives her plus 25% damage, and she's not affected by melee damage reduction. After acting, she can whip 2 allies, which gives them the usual cornucopia of offensive boosts, damage dealt, fixed damage, crit chance, crit damage, int, attack, and skill, all increase by 10%. After attacking an enemy, she applies a bone-chilling cold debuff. With 1 stack, they have reduced stats when fighting the Queen. With 2 stacks, they get stunned for a turn. If they die with the debuff on, the Queen gets refreshed cooldowns. Her unique 1-cost skill is her signature Displacement. She has the option to either pull herself to the target enemy, like Wehttam, or pull the target back towards herself, like a traditional chain hook. After using either hook, she can move 3 more spaces and take another action. Her unique 2-cost skill is a single target 1.6 times damage attack that has first strike against bone-chilled enemies. If it nets a kill, she applies bone-chilling cold to the next 2 closest enemies. Her 3-cost skill is a 2-for-1. First, it's a 3-line AoE that teleports herself and any whipped allies to the furthest point of the cast, Polyel style. This charge also applies icy terrain effects along the way that cause enemies to use additional mobility, take fixed damage, and pick up a bone-chilling cold when they move through. After using this, the 3C turns into an AoE blast around her position, so it's basically both Polyel AoEs in one skill. This second blast applies icy terrain along the edge of the AoE span, and gives the Queen a 2-turn anti-act-again aura. People always fall for these anti-act-again effects, to the point where I've seen players in Apex try to AA someone on Hilda tiles twice in the same turn, so you're definitely going to get your money's worth here. She's a member of Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal, Strategic Masters, buffed by Altemuller, Lanford, and Grenshiel, and Heroes of Time, buffed by Joshua, Yusuke, Angelica, and the Awakened One. We don't have to worry about bonds, she doesn't roadblock any other characters, and she doesn't need anyone else for her own bonds. For content, in PvE she's on faction for Phoenix and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning, until the Celica and Ymir update, when, along with the rest of the Heroes of Time, she'll also be added to the pool for Jormungandr. Other than that, just for general PvE stuff where it's useful to be able to hook to enemies and maybe port some allies along with you, that could come in handy for maybe some cheese strats, also potentially good for just enabling a couple of units on your team by giving them boosted offenses. She's definitely more of a PvP hero for reasons I think became obvious when I described her skills. She can massively boost the offensive potential of multiple allies and then bring them into the enemy's house with her, freezing people along the way. It's not surprising that she basically ushers in an era of player 1 turn 1 Abyss rush dominance. The opponent doesn't have much choice but to try an Abyss rush of their own, and then see who's still alive after the battlefield thaws. For her build, for now, she'll mostly be run in her flying class. Nightbloom is a great pick on her since she has multiple opportunities to interact with allies for the cleanse. One of the Int enchanted last rites that you rolled for your Ancient Beckoning Patsir. Star Crown is of course a go-to helm for DPS, but King's Crown could work well on her, and the new Owl Hat from this month's Battle Pass that gives plus AoE damage will be great on her as well. Dimensional Jewel, Swordsmith Medal, Vidar's Rose, and Holy Ring are all potential accessories depending on the situation. Alright, let's move on to the notes for Noobs. The Queen of the Abyss is, as I've mentioned multiple times by now, a strong PvP unit that heavily tilts the meta in favor of Rush. So if you don't Apex, then you don't really need her. In fact, if you really are a noob, this month has tons of other places to spend your summoning bucks, like the wishlist banners. Speaking of which, let's quickly go over our upcoming banners. Since this is a special event month, we're going to be inundated with potentially interesting things to spend our hard-earned vouchers and crystals on, including the other limited banners featuring Wehttam, the Awakened One, and Apotheosis. The rest of this month brings us a surprise appearance from the True Wishlist banner featuring all the non-limited heroes who debuted before January, as well as the more routine wishlist banners for Langrisser 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and 5. We're also getting a Raid Up banner featuring the Sword of Light and Shadow and Grenshiel, and Destiny banners featuring Adankelmo, the Transcender, and Tormilk, Lightbringer, Ricky, and Caroline, and Bozel, Liana, and Luna. Finally, at the end of the month, we'll be getting the Valentine's Day event couples banners with the special trade-in mechanic. The pairs this time around are Mariendel and Werner, Azusa and Oboro, Roland and Prescia, and Rosenseal and Clotaire. With such a packed month, including the latest OP must-summon ticket sync, it's tough to start thinking ahead to the next update. Next month brings Emperor Tyrantel, a nice-looking PvP tank, and Tabers, a flying waifu. We'll talk about them more in the next episode. Okay folks, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for your patience. It's definitely nice to ease back into things with a banner that only has one unit, and the advice is easy. I emptied my ticket and crystal supplies on purpose on Guyver last month, so I have a limited stash for the Queen, but I will try to summon one copy with what I have left. I do want to keep some in the bank for the next grizzled old mythical realm dad, so there's that to consider. Anyway, let me know in the comments below or on This Old Neon's Discord what your plans are or what kind of luck you ended up having. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Jake Burning, Levitt, Greenwinkle, Jerome Meyer, Ray Acevado, and Kate Soon for your continued support. I may need to rest my editing chops every now and then, but I'm not going anywhere, and it's largely because of your support. I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon.